Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Today is Tuesday. Let's just make sure YouTube's doing its thing. And welcome back to YouTubing. Yay. Today is Tuesday, 1st of December. Oh boy, finally. Coming into the home stretch of this crazy ass year. It's just going to be one for the record books, that's for sure. Lots of wranglings out of the U.S. politicians today. Maybe thinking about actually coming and passing some relief packages for the populace there down in the States. But I heard there's no checks for anybody. It's just money for corporations to keep them afloat. But here nor there, I think the market really wanted that. You can see the market itself was getting a little bit tired here, so I think we'll probably clean that up a little bit. Bread here also too rolling over pretty hard. Crazy COVID year. I suppose without COVID, probably the government wouldn't have done any stimulus stuff. So maybe we chalk it up to that. We have been talking to you guys recently about sort of waiting for the resolution following that November 13th, I think it was, the Jupiter, Earth, Pluto conjunct, the last one of its series. And I get the feeling risk resolved to the upside. Lots of uppy here. Corns did break out to new highs. Pulling back a little bit here, probably having to digest those gains. Stocks, very, very strong. Again, big stimulus talk. I think kind of stop that potential bearish unwinding there. But it's interesting. Off our dashboard, like we usually say, I don't really like to get like big honking sell signals in the market unless I see all of these things all embedded nice and bullishly. Like if everything's all bullish, then I'll be like, okay, any kind of failure here, let's go hit that. This kind of image, it's kind of wishy-washy. If anything, maybe our little crypto there at 100% in the short term is kind of telling us, again, it's not really like medium terms, super overbought. Maybe in the short term, crypto's gone a little ahead of itself. That's possible. Also, too, of course, if stimulus does come in, woohoo, more higher prices, more fugazi, more money printing, brr, all that kind of stuff, which means risk could probably get, bid up higher. The one part of the market that has me still scratching my head, and I think it's just purely a function that the commodity cycle is over. And I really don't want to be invested in commodities for the next 15 years. Long time. The only problem here, of course, we got to get through this silly Jupiter-Saturn event and get it over with and get on to the next cycle. Oil kind of ran out of gas there this morning, actually emmed out, and I think in that kind of environment, gold's kind of like, okay, phew, we can rally. Get rid of a little bit of the oversold condition there. We looked at the charts. Actually, we did like a 2-hour daily brief today, so not very brief, but Brian loves the sound of his own voice. So I looked at a lot of the gold and the silver and stuff, and yeah, they're having a nice up day. I'm kind of thinking, counter trend rallies, probably now selling windows. And a lot of those big gold stocks, they have huge gaps right up in their M tops, which are perfect targets. And, into that, December 23rd, Jupiter, Saturn, Earth conjunct, the biggest, closest, said 1624. I wouldn't be surprised if the gold market is pretty well bid into that. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Where do we go next? One part of them, you can see there's the oil kind of floundering and the gold and the silver could really jump back. If anything, good analogy, silver outperforming gold, that's a good sign for the economy. Our good old Dow, yeah, there we go. So that's what you want to see out of that gold-silver ratio, saying, hey, the economy's feeling pretty good here. And now, it's so sad. I mean, typical American capitalism. The public themselves, are you going to get any breaks? No, fuck you. You're going to get evicted? Fuck you. Who cares? Corporations? Oh, well, we got this $10 billion bond that's coming due, and if we can't refinance, we're going to go bankrupt. All right, here you go. Here's $10 billion. Merry Christmas. God, drives you crazy. So, economy itself, I think it's getting a shot in the arm here. How the populace feels through this Apex event, I think the populace is going to feel pretty stressed out and pretty angry and, pretty fearful and pretty upset. And sadly, of course, that's exactly what's supposed to happen through fear cycle apexes. And the populace is going to be thinking, end of the world, it's all over, it sucks. Sadly, I actually think this is an incredible time to invest if you have the money. Problem is, nobody has any money. Okay, so enough of that sort of bigger picture rant nonsense. Your screen. Indeed, the U.S. dollar, especially with the news of maybe more stimulus coming out, finally hitting our chaos objectives down here. Doink, 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 doink. Actually, just now coming up into 78.6 of this entire range. Still think the market's going to have a date with good old Kavarkanator down there at his original bottom into this event. Which, I've publicly told you, like I said, in these videos, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing with my money. Hey, and I lose money just as good as anybody else, especially on these options. Man, they are so easy to lose money on options. I bought a 2-year option on this thing because I knew over the next month or two, this is going to be just an absolute mess. I don't know what this is going to look like. But, that's a LEAP 2022 option, and I'll probably go buy another one if we really crank down here hard. Having said that, the path in the short term is definitely down, no doubt about that. Any kind of signs of potential reversals are just not happening here. And there's just not much more to say about this. The only thing that does surprise me about all of this is why is gold acting the way that it is? Fascinating. One thing, that sort of tell us about maybe the new year, we should probably keep an eye out for this. I was sharing this with the community. I think it's a good idea for you just to keep an eye on the fact that there are people out
welcome
there
to the Macro Show. We talk
that, this gentleman's pretty popular. Hats off to you, Mr. Van Mitra. The Bond King. He's actually looking for a massive bankruptcy wave in sort of maybe mid-2021. And that's how he's sort of explaining why the gold market is as weak as it is. Obviously all those bankruptcies, that's going to be very deflationary, not inflationary. But that's not here now. And so I think what's happening here is, who's still in the White House. They're not going to do anything until the end of the year. I'm hearing that they're going to do a little sort of emergency funding thing just so all these social programs don't come grinding to a halt January 1st. And, of course, the corporations, they get all their money. But helping the poor, helping the sick, stuff like that, fuck you. As long as that guy's in the White House, there's no way that's happening at all. Probably just more drift into the end of the year and probably through this entire transition window. The new guy doesn't take over until way over here. So who knows what the hell this is going to look like through here. So, take it for whatever it's worth. It is what it is. Like I said, full disclosure. Join the trade if you want. If you don't, laugh at me. Cool. I bought a call for 2022 here, and I'll probably buy another one somewhere around here. So, just FYI. With that falling U.S. dollar and talk of stimulus and more money being injected in the system, what a surprise. Stock market's booming here. Was that our bullish resolution following that November 13th event? Do find it interesting that basically a big stimulus package announced. In here, Fed came in and announced they did repo operations and stuff, injected a bunch of liquidity. And so today, like we said, we're getting news. Here comes more free money, and up goes the stock market. So I think I had even said in yesterday's little video to you guys, I can't buy that. There's no way in hell I could buy that. But could we crank our way higher here? Sure. I mean, that kind of looks ABCD-ish, doesn't it? And into the 25th, some sort of insane blow off top in risk assets. Look how wonderful we are. Let's go the capitalists. Remember, I think there is a huge incentive for them to get these prices as high as possible into this year end, because once that tax loss, or actually tax gain date goes bye-bye, you can't sell and take advantage of the new tax law, or the old tax laws. You're going to have to deal with the new tax laws. Oh, and by the way, there is a big potential bombshell tax-wise being floated around in the United States about next year's tax bill with regard to cryptocurrency. So you guys, probably all you crypto fans, you better get schooled up on that, what's going on. So anyway, point of the matter here, I think there's a lot of incentive for them to juice this thing as hard and as high as possible into this window. And, U.S. dollar dilution, crank those risk assets up. The only thing that kind of surprised me about all this, if risk on is really cranking it, is how weak the oil market is here. And as I said there a minute ago, I wonder whether this is a function of this commodity cycle just coming to an end. Having said that, still pointing higher. Considering the way stock market's acting, I wouldn't be surprised if this is ABCDing our way higher here. I'm not in this. I'm neither long or nor short. I don't even really want to participate in oil anymore. I did notice the electric vehicle market, all that kind of stuff, they're still coming off smartly here. So I don't know whether there's a play in there. Now, here's your image for the day. Holy Shiite Muslim. Look at that. Who can tell me? Let's see if you can actually write in the comments field what kind of candle pattern that is. And bam, damn. That is a monstrously huge and hugely important candle pattern as well. I've said repeatedly, and Mr. Bond King guy, I think he was thinking that there wasn't going to be this stimulus package. I think he did that video a few days ago, and the politicians were just like, yeah, we're not going to do anything. Now they've come out and they've said, hey, you know what, we're going to print a whole shitload more money. And I think the bond market went, oh, Jesus, you got to be kidding me. Fascinating, though, how it's kind of like a trap, eh? They opened it up outside of this range and just come screaming down here like a sack of bricks on the other side of all that talk about new stimulus money. Day's not done. But I'll tell you, if this candle finishes like this, and I've sort of said over the while that I really do like the idea that the bond market has topped out and interest rates are heading up in earnest now. I'll tell you, if that candle finishes the way that it does, that's a pretty damn big sell signal. And of course, remember, that was right in our funny little reload short zone there. So go figure. It'd be interesting to see, especially there's a few of you that are fancying yourselves getting pretty good at this trading thing. What is that one candle bar called? And it's a pretty darn big message. The irony of it all is actually the answer is right on the screen there. So I don't know whether you actually see that. There's your gold market, taking advantage of the sort of sanguine crude market today. Interesting how my funny little tweezer kind of, I don't know what the hell to name this, but I've seen it over the years. Maybe we should have like a contest. What the hell are we going to name this damn formation? No idea if it's finished. I would go off of that high down to here. Looks like we could explore a little bit more. One thing I didn't draw up yesterday that I was watching this video later on and I go, gee whiz, this is actually pretty obvious. I think this bot setup, with it going beyond 66, I think that's gone. But what we should probably do is say, okay, well, what does this range kind of look like? Notice that that's a pretty darn good floor there, eh? So there's 33, there's 66. So maybe this is some big honking ABCD. I don't know. What I will say off of this range, and this is just basically going back to the beginning of last year. What I'll say with this range is maybe what we should be thinking about is things like reload zones. So now we see that Mountain Man is basically the old structural breakout level, right? Look left, where is key support? And that was the old W breakout high. So that, 1700 number, that's probably a pretty good level to work with. And then, of course, if we're cheap asses, 78.6s, there's Covarcanator. Interesting how there's this huge gap right around where Covarcanator would be interested, right at that $1,500 mark. I suppose we could even zoom out and look at this whole range. And interestingly enough, if we just draw simple trend lines, right, boobity-boo, something like that. Let's keep it really simple. We could do 2 trend lines if you want, something like that. So that gives us a nice little sort of window. If I wanted to be a buyer of gold, probably want to try and hunt that window in there. And you might want to go something along those lines for reload zones. So reload zones within reload zones are totally awesome, but I don't think we're going to get that. What I think is going to happen here is we got to play down into sort of like this triangle here. So there's a bit of risk involved in the gold market. And really, I don't want to buy gold. Why would I want to buy gold? Gold's a 20th century story. If I'm going to want to abandon the system, I mean, I'll buy gold for jewelry. Don't get me wrong. The girls love it. But for investment purposes, well, why? Well, why buy gold? It just sits there. It would be way better, in my opinion, if you're going to buy an asset that's at value as sort of a, I want to get out of the system. I want to buy an asset that has nothing to do with the system and it's at value. I'd buy Bitcoin. At least you can use your Bitcoins. You can't really do much with an ounce of gold. It just sort of sits there and says, I'm an ounce of gold. Here I am. So, I mean, there's not really more to add to the equation. It is what it is. Interesting to see we got actually an outside downside key reversal on the junior stocks on that sort of news of potential relief plans and stuff for the bigger equity market. The junior market really started to pull off here. I do see that to a certain degree. Junior stocks calm down, but a lot of junior stocks just W'd now, so probably have to go through like Wyckoff checks and stuff like that. And the part of the market that's really rocking today is those big stocks. Remember we had on this matrix, right? There they are, the big tech stocks. What was going to happen after November 13th? There's that November 13th date on the Goog, right? There's the range, and it sure looks to me like we broke out to the upside. There's the 13th on the QQQs, which way we're going to break. Looks like we broke to the upside. Remember, Apple had that big upgrade. Where is the 13th? Might be interesting to see since this is such a leader. November 13th is right there. So the market pulled back, rallied up. I don't know, man. That's ugh. I would almost thought that looked like it failed there, but trap, take her higher. Anyway, hindsight obviously 2020, but it looks to me like this shit's all resolving to the upside here. So as a result, little one's kind of soft. Having said that, I mean, we got lots of stocks that are popping here, so it's actually a lot of fun in the market. Got a huge win off on a cryptocurrency miner yesterday. I was very proud of that. In fact, I think we hit like the exact high of the day. So that always makes me pleased when I can post those banging out doubles tweets. Yeah, look at this trade. Just sick. So there's my fill. I literally hit the top of the market. Doink. 195 was our price and 195 was our fill. So felt pretty good about that. Does this have to turn into an inside bar and we melt back down and clean all this up? It's too hard to tell right now, but definitely it's out there. You can see, some of the marijuana names, they're kind of trying to calm down a little bit now, which I think makes sense. We talked about the EVs. They're trying to calm down now a bit. So a little of the speculative, fluffy part of the market, that's coming off. I think actually we got just a great fill on this transport. Imagine that, eh? Boring old brick and mortar companies banging out doubles. Got a great fill. This is the kind of thing, this is actually an asset that I'm like, oh my god, this is so awesome. Buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, keep buying. I bought a lot of this stock. Like literally in the tens of thousands of shares. So I bought a lot of this stock here. Frankly speaking, I don't know what it's going to do over the short term. But is there a realistic chance for me to get a double off maybe into next spring? Just even 50% rules heading back up top? I think so. So who is selling a name like this right now? All the people that were in this through here. So I was telling the site today, this is a really good example where, if you got, remember that, really, I might even argue it's the same thing. Mr. Barstool, when you come in and you buy an asset here, are you buying because you saw this and went, oh my God, there's going to be so much more up, I'm going to get rich? And, that might happen, but you might have to go through this. So, do you really want to come in and chase an up market like this? Remember, we were buying this Mara down here. And my next sell half on a double order is working right up here. I might get filled by the end of the day. Who knows? But can you come in and buy here where I'm selling? Probably not a good idea. And sure enough, boom, down she goes. So, that name that I just showed you a moment ago, this is a kind of a name where, who's actually buying here? Whoops, that's not it. Don't touch that one. Oh, I did it again. There's so many aquas in this world. Maybe I was subconsciously I don't want you to buy this, so let's move on. In fact, actually, you know what? You don't have to buy it. Screw it. I'm not here to teach you guys. I'm here just to do a recap. So, what do we got here? Junior stocks, kind of soft here today. So, I did a little bit of buying. Tax loss sellers, selling, I am buying their stock. Heading on over to crypto and the corn. I do believe that this was a pretty important day FYI-wise, and I think the whole market was sort of moving into it. I was a little surprised, actually, that we didn't get much of a pop there on it being the first. Oh, this is the big FA date. It didn't really do much here, right? So my message to the community was, there is the first. We have shooting star, nice little fuck you, wash the stops, then big dump following it. There's no real signal or anything to do through this. This is what we call a diamond pattern, and you just have to simply let it resolve. This was a diamond pattern up here. It resolved bearishly, and that's what happens following it. You don't know. I mean, this might resolve bearishly, and indeed we head back down. Or, and you can see I had the lines on here. That's how I ended the conversation. Or this might be a midpoint consolidation, getting ready for another push higher. You don't know. I've told you guys repeatedly, it's not probably in your best interest to predict the future or get into the business of predicting the future. Just trade the damn setups. So here's an example where, clearly we have beautiful W's, Wyckoff checks, algos, all signals, buy, right? We run up, we break old highs. I suppose you could argue higher time frame participants might buy that breakout, but they're going to be risking all the way back down against these lows. So I know a lot of you lower time frame players, you're not going to be taking that kind of risk. Or if you did buy here and you had to see it come all the way down here, you would be so fucking pissed off. So my hunch is you're going to see a bit of a consolidation here. We might consolidate bull and break out to the upside, and we might roll over. And we're just going to have to see how this plays out. And as I said, I'm a little disappointed. I was kind of, come on, give me a fucking face rip here, please. Yeah, we just didn't get it. So it is what it is. You know, that's why I always say, don't get in the business of making predictions. I mean, you don't know how this was going to play out. If this debt is the top, and I don't know if it is or not, but if it is, then we're probably going to do something along these lines, right? So, you know, through December here, let's watch the resolution. Maybe we can get one more big pump into that December 26th event. These guys, you know, any Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever, you know how the story goes, 1%. If these guys bid this thing up and want to book that tax, gain into the end of the year, they have basically until here to get it done. Once we hit this purple line, why would you expect higher prices going forward? There won't be any tax incentive to have this market moving higher. There won't be any fundamental news. And we'll be beyond this current celestial cycle, if you will. And my hunch is we're going to be setting up for what the hell the world's going to look like. Getting ready for vaccines, getting ready for new taxes, getting ready for probably more socialist, more politically correct, more racially correct kind of language and talk. I mean, I love you women dearly. Love you, love you, love you. But have you seen how many women are like in Joe Biden's cabinet? It's all women. It's like, what the hell's going on in this world? I mean, it's literally his whole staff is women. It's shocking. I tell you, all you men in the world, get ready. Fucking the world is changing quick. Mercy. And on a side note, and this is what I shared with the community today, because I mean, like I tell you, I think the women are taking over. But hey, if this woman's taking over, I am her. Because check this chick out. Go, Laura! I don't think I'm allowed to play this on YouTube, but damn, she fucking rocks. So I get a distinct impression this world is changing, and big time. All right, crazy rants. Don't take no wooden nickels. You know, it's kind of funny. I was talking with the community today. There's some great looking setups coming in here. Look at this steam. I mean, just beautiful. This little EXCL. I bought this coin back in 2015. It's the only trade I did on it. And, of course, it went fucking absolutely apeshit and banging out doubles after doubles after doubles after doubles. And I loaded up on my screen this morning, and I bought it at 280 sats. And gee whiz, look where it is, and look what's happening here. So, get out there and have some fun. I can't buy this stuff for you. I mean, I tell you what I do. I don't want you buying my stuff. I want you buying your ideas. But W's are W's are W's, and you know how that website address goes. Okay, everybody, I'm going to try and stop talking now. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. PMA for the win. Good luck in following your plans. I mean, I have to say, I was pretty damn impressed with how many of you piled into the school here through that Black Friday event. So, our job, really, there is no sales pitch into the end of the year because the school's full. So, way to go. I'm sure there probably are people that didn't take advantage of that deal and would like to try and sneak in. So I'm sure we'll find spaces for you end of December, beginning of January. But got to say, I was pretty damn impressed to see how quickly that school filled up. So, okay, everybody, have yourselves a great day. Hopefully you got something there out of all that to help you. All the best, and bye for now.